Alright guys, Cerulean TV here, bringing you a in-depth guide to Frost Death Knights in Mythic Plus for 10.2. This is a follow-up to our kick guide we released a few weeks ago. Jumping right on into it, we'll start out here with talents. We'll talk through the talent trees, what's going on here. There's a few different ways we can go in Mythic Plus this season. Starting with the class tree, nothing has really changed for us since 10.1. The couple of flex nodes you have is maybe you don't take AMZ, depending on your group, maybe you don't take blind, maybe you put a point into asphyxiate. Those three can kind of be interchangeable depending on your group comp. AMZ is a really nice defensive cooldown for your party, that's why I usually keep it in. The other thing that can change up here sometimes in the top, you might put a point in Improved Death Strike. Again, take it from one of those flex points, maybe take it off an Unholy Bond for some more Death Strike healing. And then this whole third to last row is kind of interchangeable between Insidious, Chill, Blood Draw, Will, and Necropolis, and Unholy Bond. Pick whichever one of those you like. I really love Will and the Necropolis. That's the one that I run the most usually in keys. Blood Draw can be good. It's not a crazy big heal, but it's something. So feel free to take a point out of Insidious Chill, take a point out of maybe Blinding Sleet or AMZ, put it into that, so you can get back down to your Empower Rune weapon node here. Besides that, nothing's really changed. It was Incorporeal week, so we had in Control Undead on. When it's not Incorporeal, take that out, put it back in Enfeeble. And that's pretty much all we got for the class tree. For the spec-specific tree, a little bit has changed. We're still coming down the right side to get our Biting Cold down to our Everfrost. But with our new tier set, which we'll talk about in a little bit, we do take a point in Chill Streak. So to do that, we took a point out of Absolute Zero, put that point into Chill Streak. That's a change from last season. And I've been playing around with no Frostworm build since we don't have Absolute Zero anymore. And I put another point in Enduring Strength because it was a Tyrannical week. And that has felt really, really good. Instead of just 10% increased strength after your pillar, you have 20%. And like I said, the dungeons I've been running this week has felt very, very, very good with Enduring Strength. I'm really liking that talent so far this season. I know I've seen some people putting a point into Enduring Chill, which just gives our Chill Streak more bounces potentially. I haven't played around with it too much. Like I said, I've really been liking this Enduring Strength build. So that's what I've been running this week. Besides that, nothing else has changed since 10.1 really. We're coming down this left side, obviously picking up our Glacial Advance, all the way down to our Obliteration. If you're playing dual wield, you can get some Shattering Blade stacks maybe, but I wouldn't recommend dual wield for Obliteration. Definitely go a two-hander, especially because we'll be getting a Legendary later in the season. That's pretty much all we have for talents here. The only thing that's changed since last season was we took out a point in Absolute Zero, took out a point in Frostworm. We put that into Chill Streak and either Enduring Chill or a second point Enduring Strength. But this is what I've recommended so far for this season. It's felt really, really strong in the keys that I've done. So yeah, moving on to stack priority. If you're very new to Frost Death Knights, what do our stats do? Mastery increases all of our Frost ability damage, which is like all of our abilities. It is all of our abilities except Obliterate, when we don't have Killing Machine procs, which you're not really pressing much anyways. Killing Machine will give you your Obliterate's frost damage, which we'll talk about later. So that's what our mastery does, just flat damage. Haste, obviously, our globals are faster. And crits, whenever we crit with auto attacks, it gives us Killing Machine procs for our Obliterates. So what I recommend is get it up to 20%. The guys over at the DK Discord figured out that's when you get full globals inside of your pillar window. So get that to 20%, and then an even spread between crit, haste, and mastery after that would be the recommendation that I have. Sim yourself whenever you get new pieces to see what works best for you, but we like all three of those stats evenly. We love crit, we love haste, we love mastery. All of them are good for Frost. Moving out of that, moving more into some gear here. Starting with trinkets, I guess. I've been very unlucky so far this season with trinkets. Haven't gotten much. As you can see, I have a 470 Might of the Ocean, which isn't bad if you're going to be running Frostworm's Fury. But 1.5 cooldown's a little wonky. It lines up with like every other pillar. The trinkets I would recommend this season, obviously from raid, if you're going to raid, Pips is definitely BsPA. Try to get a Pips if you can from raid. Sim yourself, a Signet Brand might be okay for you, but Pips is probably the best trinket you can get from Raid. If you don't want to get in Raid, you're in luck. You really don't have to. All of the dungeon trinkets this season are really good for us. For the most part, it's mostly the passive ones that are really good. Sandglass, I've farmed so many Dons, haven't gotten one yet. I personally really want a Sandglass. I would say it's one of our best trinkets. So I'd recommend trying to get a Sandglass from Dawn of the Infinite. It's the first half, Galakron's Fall. Comes from these first 4 bosses here. So run first half Dawn. I mean, if you're unholy, you can just run second half as well and get a mirror. And then what else? Razan's Gleaming Eye could be a good stat stick for you. Or Crusted Bludger Block, that works as well. Not a counterweight. Eggshell, that could work. Spores, I haven't gotten one yet. I feel like it could be good. The 2 minutes a little wonky with Frost CDs. It'll line up with your A-Bomb limb windows. It could be good if you get it, sim yourself. And then Crab's good as well. So pretty much every single passive trinket from Dungeons this season could be good for you. So just run Dungeons, get trinkets. It's honestly not a season where you really have to target any really specific trinket to be viable. A lot of them are very comparable. So if you get them, sim yourself and go from there. Moving into some embellishments here. My first craft, I did the Allied Risk Guards. It's just some nice verse. It's crit and haste. It gives us some stats. Helps keep you alive and keys some more because that verse gives you some more damage, gives you some damage reduction. If you're new, don't know what versatility does, it increases your damage and healing done and decreases damage to your that you take by half of your verse. So that's always good for keys. And then I got a belt with a socket early on. So I went ahead and crafted my Lariat 46. I know it's very early in the season for that, but just getting 1 or 2 sockets with the Lariat, it really pops off for us in keys. So that's why I have that. I'm kind of pigeonholing myself into keeping these rings until I get some of the sockets because of that. But not necessarily a bad thing. For other embellishments, if you don't get sockets, obviously sim yourself with all of these. They're all pretty comparable. Anything with blue silken lining is going to be good. Anything with shadow flame is going to be good if you want to combine that for raid. Both of those work. You can put it on anything: boots, belt, cape. Remember, crafted gear is only 46 this season. Max is 49. So I wouldn't really recommend putting it on a big piece because you'll get more stats from a 49 piece. So maybe put it on your cape or maybe your boots, and maybe belt last if you're going to be doing shadow flame and blue silken lining. You could also rip the Frostfire Lever Guards for preparation if you want. The haste pass, that's really nice for beginning of pulls. And our pillar windows gives us more haste. But again, that's also on a tier slot spot, so be careful with that. If you don't have a lot of tier, I wouldn't recommend crafting that early on. Speaking of tier set, I might as well talk about that now. So what is our tier set? It revolves around Chill Streak, that's why we take that talent now. Chill Streak's range is increased by 4 yards and can bounce off of you. And each time it bounces, it increases our damage done by 4%, stacking up to 5 times. So we're basically getting up to 20% increased damage every time we Chill Streak, which is awesome. This Chill Streak's cooldown is a nice 45 seconds. The 4 set, Chill Streak can bounce 2 more times, so more bounces. And each time it bounces, it has a chance to either give us a rune, reduce Chill Streak's cooldown, or reduce Empowering Weapons cooldown. So pretty much what that means rotationally for us is you're pressing Chill Streak on cooldown, because sometimes it'll be desynced because of our cooldowns being reduced. If you try to hold it for like your A-bomb limbs or your pillars, you're probably gonna end up losing some casts, so you pretty much want to rip it on cooldown if you can, is what I've been doing in keys. Maybe if you have 5 seconds to a pillar, you hold that for the pillar, because that really helps us out in the pillar windows, that 20% more damage. But generally, I'd probably just be ripping this whenever you want, because it gives us a lot of cooldowns on the power weapon. Chill Streak cooldowns, gives us runes, gives us damage. In general, the tier sets, honestly, it's been really fun so far. It's obviously not as impactful as last season's was, with dragons and whatnot. But we're just bouncing snowballs around the entire dungeon and giving us damage, so not going to complain about that. Not the most exciting, but hey, it's Chill Streak. I've wanted to play Chill Streak in PvE for a while, so we'll take that. Alright, moving into our rotation. So I guess before we talk about rotation, we'll talk about our Pillar of Frost again and how Pillar of Frost works. So what Pillar does is increase our strength by 25%, and each rune spent while inside of Pillar gives us 2% more strength. So we're pretty much ramping damage our entire Pillar window with every rune that we spend. And so what are we doing in our Pillar windows? Well, since we have the Obliteration talent and we're two-handed class, while Pillar is active, our Frost Strike, Glacial Advances, and Howling Blasts always give us a Killing Machine proc and have a chance to give us a rune. I've said Killing Machine a lot, I haven't explained it. For those that are you that are new, what is Killing Machine? It increases your auto attack criticals, your auto attack crits, have a chance to make your next Obliterate, deal frost damage, and always crit. So it makes our Obliterates gain advantage from our mastery, and they will always crit and do big damage. So what does this mean inside of our Pillar windows? What it means is the entire time we're in Pillar, we're weaving between something that will generate a Killing Machine proc and something that will consume one, aka Obliterate. So we're bouncing between using Killing Machine Obliterates and Rhymes or Glacial Advances or Frost Strikes. We'll talk about which one you use when in a little bit. So actually getting into the rotation now, say we have all cooldowns, we're running into a pack here with our group. What do you want to do? Well, first you want to open up with your A-Bomb them, your Raised Dead, and your Remorseless Winter. You're then going to want to hit your Chill Streak, and then your Trinkets, and then your Pillar last. Then you'll generate a Killing Machine or two, drop your D&D, and then you're just weaving. If there's a Killing Machine, you're using it. If you're going to run low on an Enduring Strength proc, you're using not Rhyme, you'll use your Glacial Advance or your Frost Strike, and then you'll just be consuming your Killing Machines. Taking a step back, what do I mean by keeping your Unleashed Frenzy up? Unleashed Frenzy is one of the talents we take. Damaging an enemy with a Runic Power ability increases your strength by 2% for 10 stacks, and that stacks up to 3 times. So you can always have 6% bonus strength pretty much. What gives us Unleashed Frenzy stacks? Our Frost Strikes do. As you can see there, we have 1 stack. Our Glacial Advance does. Boom, there's another stack. And it's just those 2 that give us them. So when we're in our Pillar window or when we're outside of our Pillar window, again, we'll walk in, we'll hit our Remorseless Winter, Chill Streak, Pillar, D&D, and then we're switching. We have an Obliterate, we use it. We don't, we use something else. We Frost Strike, Obliterate. Frost Strike, Obliterate. If we're in AoE, we will Glacial Advance, Obliterate, use those up, Glacial Advance, Obliterate, and so on. So I guess you're probably thinking, all right, well, how do I choose between Rhyme or our Glacial Advance or Frost Strike? If you have a Rhyme Empowered Howling Blast, you'll probably use that, unless your Unleashed Frenzy stacks are about to drop. So say I'm weaving right now, and you see I have a Rhyme, but this is about to run out, you'll use that global on a Frost Strike or a Glacial Advance to refresh that instead of using it on the Rhyme. Then you can use your Rhyme proc, got a Killing Machine, use that. So you're pretty much prioritizing using Killing Machine procs above everything inside of your Pillar window. And then after that, you're either using a Rhyme-Empowered Howling Blast or your Frost Strike or Glacial Advance, depending on if you're in AoE or single target. Again, you'll be using your Glacial Advances in AoE scenarios. You'll be using your Frost Strikes in single target. That's the only difference between single target and AoE for Frost. It's just literally those 2 buttons, what your filler button is. As part of, where are we? Oh, our D&D, it causes us to cleave our Obliterates up to 2 targets, so that's why we're dropping that inside of our pillars and slamming those. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, we'll walk in, I'll show you real quick. You can see my buttons pop up on the bottom here, what I do. But we'll walk into a pack, hit our Remorseless, A-Bomb, Chill Streak, Pillar, and then we start weaving. Obliterate, Frost Strike, Obliterate, Frost Strike. I'm building up my Unleashed Frenzy stacks. Obliterate, Frost Strike, Obliterate. Now we'll rip a Rhyme, hit our Obliterates because we have Killing Machine procs, and then just continue that weaving. Nice thing about Frost, if a button lights up, you're probably going to hit it. And then we're continuing that. And we have our Enduring Strength now, so you'll still be popping your D&Ds afterwards because we do have 20% additional strength from Enduring Strength after our Pillar winter ends. And just like that, our Pillar's already up again, and we're going again. Hit it a little out of order there. I hit my Chill Streak after pillar. That's okay. The other global you want to press inside pillar is Remorseless Winter. You pretty much want to slam Remorseless Winter on cooldown to keep up our Everfrost buff. And yeah, that's pretty much it for us. Again, in AoE, we're filling with Glacial Advance. In single target, we are filling with Frost Strike. And that is our Frost rotation. Now, if we're going back to Frostworm's Fury for some reason, if maybe on fortified weeks I want to run that, when do we use Frostworm's Fury? You use that with the last or second to last global in your pillar window. So you're getting as much strength as possible from your pillar rune consumes. So you get a really big dragon at the end of your pillar window. Moving into defensives. We talked about this before, but as a Death Knight, you're extremely very tanky. Odds are if you're dying, you're not dying to rot damage. It's probably you eating mechanics. Should be the only reason that you die in a key. Why? We have Icebound Fortitude. It reduces all of our damage taken by 30%. It gets us out of stuns. We have AMS every 40 seconds, which is completely busted in keys. You should be using AMS all the time in keys. It can completely negate most magic mechanics in a dungeon. If a boss is going to throw out a dot, if you pre-AMS it, you won't even get the dot on you. It's bursting weak. It can make you not get a million stacks of bursting if that's a problem. AMS is the greatest button in the game for a Death Knight. It's absolutely incredible. It saves your hero's life all the time. They don't have to worry about you at all. We also have Lichborn. We take the talent. Where's that guy? Unholy Endurance, which makes Lichborn a damage reduction, 15%. And then Lichborn also increases our leech. It makes you immune to charms, fears, and sleeps. So if you get feared, charmed, or slept, you can press that to get out of it. Again, we can get out of stuns, we can get out of fears, we can negate other magic abilities. You should never be getting CC'd as Death Knight. So those three defensives are very strong. That plus a Wolven Acropolis or Blood Draw, as well as our 20% more stamina from Veteran of the Third War. And if you're taking Improved Death Strike, you just should not be dying. If you get low, you hit a Death Strike, you have 3 defensives to rotate through. We have the new Healing Pot, Remarker's Healing Potion to press. So yeah, as a Death Knight, you just should never be dying. Alright, and then finally moving into Consumables and Enchants. We run all the normal Enchants. You can run Leech or Avoidance, whatever you want, honestly. Waking Stats on the chest, run Fallen Crusader on your weapon, Shadow Belt Clasp for that stamina, Fierce Armor Kits on the legs, Runner's Breeze. I'm still running Mastery here because I was running some Unholy, but sim yourself for which enchant and sockets to put in your things. It can either be Mastery, Crit, or Haste depending on your stat priority. Again, just sim yourself, see what's best. There will be a new head enchant that we're getting later in the season from Raid. Pretty much what it does is it just deals static damage to nearby enemies. That'll just be a nice enchant to get as the season goes on. And then finally, obviously feasts. We'll have whetstones or waitstones. You can use the verse files, one I would recommend for high keys, and then the new healing potion, as well as elemental potions of ultimate power for your combat pot. And very shortly here, the race will first be over, and we'll know what the legendary does. That will obviously be BIS for us once it comes out. We'll be making a video when it does. But yeah, that's all we got at the moment for Frost. So far, it's been really fun playing Frost this season. I hope you guys find this video enjoyable and informative. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see next. And we will see you in the next one. Peace.